Hey everyone, Paul here from freeyounow.com, and this is Driving with Paul, episode number 7. In this episode, I want to talk about how to train your ego mind to help you achieve success. And there's an author by the name of Stuart Wilde that wrote an excellent book called The Infinite Self. And one of the things that Stuart Wilde talked about in that book, he talked about the concept of learning how to discipline your mind, how to discipline your ego self. And what he talked about in that book is this process. He followed a few different processes on how to condition his mind. But one of the processes he followed was essentially he'd wake up in the morning and he'd go outside and he'd go to the far end of his property. And he had this rock there. He'd pick up that rock and he'd walk to the opposite end of his property and he'd put that rock down. And then he'd go inside his house and just go about his day as normal. Next morning he'd wake up, go out back outside, now go to the, where the rock is now, which is like at the back of the property, let's say. He'd pick up the rock and bring it to the front of the property and put it down. And then he'd go home and go about his day. The next day, he'd wake up, go outside, go to the front of the property, pick up the rock, and once again, he'd take it to the back of the property. So every morning, he would just wake up, go outside, pick up a rock, and walk it to the opposite side of the property and leave it there. And what this was, it was basically a completely useless, pointless task that was designed essentially to condition his ego to respect the fact that he's the boss in his life, that he's the one making the decisions, and he's the one running the show, not the ego mind. Because the ego mind does not want to do anything that it does not believe is worth it for the ego. Okay? It's very selfish. It always only wants to do what it believes is worth it for it to do. So one of the ways that you can condition your mind to help you achieve success is to start conditioning it by doing either a 30-day, a 60-day, or a 90-day commitment to something. And it doesn't really matter what it is that you're going to commit to. The point of it is simply to condition your mind. So it could be something like what Stuart Wilde did, which is basically just go to the end of your property. It doesn't even have to be the end of the property. It could be one side of your room. Pick up a rock or pick up a book, whatever it is, and carry it to the other side of the room or carry it to the side of the property and put it down. Next day, wake up, do the same thing but bring it back. And do this task every single day for 30 days in a row. Or 60 days, or 90 days. And you're going to learn more about yourself and your ego than you ever would imagine by doing something as simple as this. When I first heard this exercise, I was like, well, that sounds way too easy. It can't be that hard. So what I did is I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run on my treadmill for 30 minutes. I'm going to get on my treadmill for 30 minutes every day, no matter what. And in the book, Stuart Wilde says, when you do this process, be aware that your ego is going to try to stop you and trip you up. You might be able to do it for a few days, 3 or 4, maybe 10 days, 15 days. But at some point before the 30 day is up, your ego will try to stop you. So what happened to me is I went through this process and I said, okay, I'm going to get on the treadmill for 30 minutes every single day. I'm going to stick to that no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm sick or healthy. It makes no difference. I have to get on the treadmill no matter what. So that was the commitment that I made. So I made the commitment. I went on the treadmill every single day. I think it was on day 25 or something like that, or 23. It was before the 30th day. And I woke up in the morning one morning. I got out of bed and I basically went to put my weight on my knee. And my knee almost collapsed underneath my weight. And I was like, oh my God, what the heck is wrong with my knee? And I felt this sharp pain shoot all the way up to my brain. I was just like, oh my God, what is wrong with my knee? I cannot believe it. This is horrible. I could barely walk. So I kind of just had to keep my weight on my other leg and walk around that day. And going up and down the stairs was almost unbearable. It was so much pain, and I had no idea what was wrong with my knee. It felt like it was swollen, maybe 3 times its size, but it wasn't swollen. It wasn't swollen at all. Like, I looked at it and I compared it to my other knee. They were the same size. It just felt like this pressure. I had this pressure in my knee, and it just felt. And around 11 o'clock at night, before I went to bed, I realized, oh my God, I have to do my run. I have to get on my treadmill for 30 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to break my commitment. And I got all this anxiety, and I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't go on the treadmill. I don't know what's wrong with my knee. I really should go see a doctor about this. But I'm hoping that I don't have to. But really, this knee is bad. I don't want to screw it up even worse than it is right now. If I go on that treadmill, I might really screw it up. So I was kind of stuck in this like dilemma, of either breaking my commitment or potentially seriously harming my knee by going on that treadmill for 30 minutes. And then I sat down and I looked at the piece of paper where I had written down my commitment, because it's good to write it down as well. And I looked at the piece of paper. On the piece of paper, I wrote there that I'm committing to going on the treadmill for 30 minutes. And that's when I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I never said I'm gonna run on the treadmill for 30 minutes. I just have to go on the treadmill for 30 minutes. So then I thought, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the room, I'm gonna go on top of the treadmill, and I'll either just stand there for 30 minutes on the treadmill, or I'll just set it to the lowest setting, like 1 mile per hour or whatever, and I'll just kind of slowly walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes, just so I don't screw up my knee. That way, I'm not gonna break my commitment, and I hopefully won't wreck my knee worse than it already was. So as soon as I thought that, though, I had this thought in my mind where I was just like, oh my God, well, what if I do wreck my knee? What if even just standing there on the treadmill wrecks my knee even worse? And all these thoughts started flooding my mind, like, just skip one day, don't worry about it, you can start back tomorrow, you can do day 26 tomorrow, right? And then another part of my mind's like, no, I can't skip a day. I made a commitment. I'm not going to break the commitment. I told myself, no matter what, I'm going to get on the treadmill for 30 minutes a day. And then another part of my mind's like, no, you're an idiot. You're going to wreck your knee, and you could be a cripple for the rest of your life, because your knee's going to get, whatever. Something's going to happen to it. You don't even know what's wrong with it. It could be something serious. You should go see a doctor, right? And I said, whatever, I don't care. I'm going on the treadmill, even if it means just standing there and holding up my weight on the 2 bars that are on the side of the treadmill. So I got up and lit my way slowly towards the treadmill, got on top of the treadmill, set the speed to 1.0, and as soon as I started the treadmill and the thing moved, and in my mind it was like, I'm doing this. I don't care. I'm doing this. I don't give a crap what I do, how badly I injure my knee. I'm doing this. I'm not breaking my commitment. I'm doing this. As soon as I had that thought and the treadmill started moving, before I even took the first step, it's like I felt this little shift in my knee, and all the pain was gone. The entire thing was just disappeared. And I'm like, what the heck? So I set the speed to like 2 and then 3, and I started walking. And then I'm like, what the heck just happened? So I kind of got off the treadmill for a couple minutes and just walked around a little bit. I'm like, what the heck? I tried putting my weight on it was fine. My knee was fine. There was nothing wrong with my knee. I went back on the treadmill. I did my 30 minutes. And I continued with that commitment. I finished my 30-day commitment. And when this was over, I went back and I sat down in my chair, and I was just my mind was completely blown, because I realized that somehow my ego mind tried to trip me up. It was trying to prevent me from achieving this, completing this commitment. And the way it did it is by making my knee hurt to the point where it felt like something was seriously wrong with it. And it was like, I thought I might need like surgery or something. That's how bad this thing was. Like, it was just intense pain. And the minute that I decided, sorry, I'm not going to let this happen, I'm doing it regardless, all the pain just disappeared. And that process, that experience that I had just completely blew my mind. And Stuart Wilde, in that book, it's called Infinite Self, he talks about some of these experiences that he's had. He's done a whole bunch of weird stuff where he would like go outside and lie on a piece of wood, on a log, and just stare at the sky. And I think he did that for like a year straight or something, every day, just to condition his mind that he's in charge. And you know, he's done a whole bunch of different fitness, exercise related stuff. And of course, taking this piece of this rock and walking it back and forth on his property, he's done that. He mentions some of these different things that he's done to gain control of his mind and control of his ego. And if you've never done this, if you haven't gone through a process like this, I highly recommend that you try it out. What you want to do is you want to pick something that you've never done before, something that maybe you weren't able to stick with. It can be something very simple. It could be something as simple as doing a push-up every day. Just one push-up. Just one push-up. Anyone can do one push-up. Or even one sit-up or 10 sit-ups. Whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what it is. But just pick something and do it every single day for 30 days straight without missing a day and not allowing anything to stop you. All right? Like, I'm talking about if Armageddon happens, you still got to complete your commitment. Right? The only excuse you give yourself is like death. You know what I mean? Like, if you're dead, okay, maybe you can't complete it. And even then, no excuses. Maybe in the afterlife you do whatever you said you're going to do, right? But if you do that, if you make that kind of commitment and do something you've never done before, it could be something very simple, and you do it for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, whatever, pick a date, set the commitment, and then follow through. You're going to learn a lot about yourself and a lot about how your mind works. And you're going to learn about how your ego tries to control your life and tries to get you to do things that it wants you to do instead of you doing the things that you want to do. If you're a blogger, if you've been looking for a way to make money online, one thing you could try is you could join the 21-day blogging challenge that we have going on with the Power Network. I'll put a link below this video if you want to join and do the 21-day blogging challenge. And that's 21 days, and then you can just add on an extra 9 days and just so you have the full 30 days, because you want to do this for at least 30 days. But it can be anything. If you don't want to do a blogging challenge, that's fine. Do something else. Pick something in whatever area of life that you want to do. Pick something simple. It doesn't have to be anything profound. It could be as simple as, picking up a book off your bookshelf and turning it upside down and putting it back on the bookshelf. The next day, do the same thing. And do that for 30 days. Try it out. See what happens. I think you learned a lot about yourself and how your mind works. So do that now if you want. If you want to gain more control over your mind and to condition your mind for success, try this out for 30 days and then let me know. Right? Leave a comment below the video and say, here's what I'm going to do. Paul, here's what I'm going to do. My commitment for the next 30 days is to do this. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be something great. You don't have to go to the gym every day for 30 days. Nothing like that. Just pick something simple, but stick to it for 30 days. Leave a comment below this video, set a goal, and say, look, here's what I'm going to do, Paul. This is my commitment. I'm committing to doing this for 30 days. And then do it for 30 days, and you can check in every day if you want, leave a comment or whatever. Or you can wait till the 30 days is up and come back and leave a comment and just say, you know what, Paul, I did it. I completed the process. And share with us a little bit about what you learned about your mind and how it works. And let us know if anything popped up that was trying to stop you. And let us know if you overcame that thing that popped up, or if you had to start all over. Because if you say you're going to do something for 30 days, if you can't complete the 30 days, let's say you're on day 25 and you can't do day 26, then you have to start all over. The point is to do something consecutively for at least 30 days, potentially. If you really want to take this to the next level, do it for 60 days or 90 days. Make it something simple and just get it done. All right? That's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.